Welcome. I'm Travis.
And I'm Tyler, and this is Strategies for Success, a show that explores many topics while aiming to equip listeners with simple and practical lessons you can use in your everyday life.
Now join us on our journey as we reach for the impossible. Welcome, guys. I'm Trav.
And I'm Tyler.
Today we're going to talk about mentors.
Mentors. Go ahead, Trav.
Not Mentos, mentors.
Mentors.
That is someone that you want to pick in your life that is going to help define who you are. So the actual dictionary definition is an experienced or trusted advisor.
Yep. Typically, I think it's important to have someone that's older than you. They don't have to be a lot older than you, but at least a little bit older. So that way you can, if they're older than you, they've probably been through things that you're going through or about to go through. And it could be very useful to talk to that person.
Yeah, I agree. And I would pick someone that is maybe in the field that you're wanting to be successful in. So someone who's walked that path before. So give you an example. If you're going into ministry, probably be a pastor. You know, if you're going into business, I'd find a businessman that's been in that path of the same type, whether it's sales or like me and Tyler with equipment sales, or maybe it's working for a corporation. I know we've done many of these episodes now of the defining success, and every one of these guys that we've interviewed, as you can go back and listen to these, but every one of them is very different. Mm-hmm. A lot of that comes by their age, their life experiences, and their values and things that they hold.
Yeah, and as some of those guys have said, that's also changed over their life too. So I think if you can get someone that's a little bit older, been around longer, wiser, that they probably have some wisdom they can share with you about what you're about to go through and what lessons they learned. A lot of times they're probably going to share with you what lessons they learned the hard way. So
yeah. So
maybe you don't have to learn those the hard way like they did.
Yeah, there's always two ways to learn it, right? By listening to someone or learning it the hard way.
Yep.
So with a mentor, we've mentioned this many times, but we do boys ministry, and through this boys ministry program that we're a part of, they're always encouraging the boys to find a mentor and also to be a mentor. And so, how do we do that? How do you be a mentor, and then how do you find one? So, when I was looking for someone to mentor me, we talked about finding one in that path that has gone before you, someone that's a little bit older that has the wisdom, but also I try to watch people's lifestyle. I look how people respond to maybe some tough situations. And then I also say, I'll read the challenge. Maybe it's the next advancement for me or for one of the young boys. And I look at someone that's excelled. There's this challenge that's coming up that my oldest son's getting ready to be part of. And part of the challenge is that they have to keep a fire lit all night. And then they're doing a vigil. And there was a guy that's a good friend of mine, former military, and I heard that during his challenge there became this torrential downpour. I believe he's former Navy, and I knew the guy with a lot of experience. He's someone who's pretty reserved. He don't talk a lot, and there's no bragging about it. And he didn't tell me this. Someone else told me this, and that's one thing I respect about him, because he's not a bragger. Mm-hmm. And most of your guys that are the real deal, they don't need to brag. And so this torrential downpour came in, and everyone doing this challenge, all the men, all the boys, they all failed and came in for the night. Their fire got put out. And if your fire goes out, you fail. And this guy kept his fire going all night in a torrential monsoon of a rain shower.
Wow.
And so I told my son Trevor, I was like, well, if you want to learn how to keep a fire, I'd go to the guy over there that kept it going in a monsoon.
Exactly. Yeah, and choosing someone that's done something that you want to do, I think, is very important. If you look at somebody, whether it's in your industry or whatever you want to do, maybe, like Travis was saying, if you want to be a pastor, you probably want to talk to somebody that is a pastor. And, sometimes people think that guy's not going to want to help me at all. He's not going to want to be a mentor to me. But I'd say be selective on this. If you try to choose somebody that has been successful at what you want to do, not somebody that just does what you want to do. Pick somebody that has excelled and is achieving great things, and ask them. Try to be, learn from them. A lot of times you can learn from people without directly asking them, but when someone's actually ask them to be your mentor, it kind of takes on a whole new status, and that they'd be a lot more intentional about it.
Yeah, and I think when you ask people, sometimes they're shocked that you would even want to learn from them.
Yeah.
And
Even really successful people.
yeah, exactly. And let's flip this around. I started mentioning this a minute ago, but how do you become a mentor? Well, you can become a mentor by helping people, by showing them. And I think a lot of times we forget, but every one of us, me, Tyler, my dad, different ones we've had on the show, every one of us has a story. It could be a story of success and it could be a story of failure. But you know what? Sharing those failures like you said, helps people that avoid the traps and the things of mistakes that we made. And I had this man that we had asked to help with boys ministry, and I was looking for a volunteer. His name's Vernon. And Vernon was probably in his early 80s, late 70s, early 80s, and his wife had passed away a couple years before. And I had told Pastor, hey, I need another volunteer. We're getting a lot of boys up here. And he said, man, I really think you ought to talk to Vernon. And if you believe like me and Tyler, I believe that God had the right person for us to pick as well. And so I kind of prayed about it and thought about it. And I was thinking, man, it's going to be tough. He's going to come upstairs and he's going to be like, man, I have no way to communicate with this next generation of boys. I figured there was going to be a communication gap even between us. And Pastor just kind of kept nudging me along. And so I went back and I said, hey, Vernon, I said, would you want to help with Royal Rangers? And he got teared up. This still, just thinking about it affects me emotionally. And he said, I just felt like God was done with me and I didn't have nothing else to share. That man came up and helped the Royal Rangers for almost 3 years. And he was sharing leathercraft. He went to camp with us. He was tougher than the boys and me on camping. He kept up with all them boys. We're talking 12 to 16-year-old boys, and he kept up with every one of them, went to all the activities. He camped out there with us. It was amazing. And it just hit me that each and every one of us have our own story. We just got to be willing to share it and step up and be that mentor.
Exactly. I think a lot of stuff can be solved with people allowing themselves to be vulnerable and share their stories with other people. And what, like at work, when I have to train somebody new, or maybe they're learning something that they haven't done yet, if I've learned that the hard way, I view it as an opportunity to teach them. Say, hey, I learned this the hard way. I didn't know this was a thing. So let me show you so you don't have to learn the hard way. And that way we can move along your process a lot quicker. And, being in those positions that they were in and kind of moving up the chain, that's helped me a lot because now I understand what they were going through. And now I can be a better leader and hopefully somewhat of a mentor to the younger people coming up.
Sometimes it can help you see problems that might arise from the decisions that you're thinking about making or thinking about doing by looking at what others have went through.
Exactly.
Exactly. Be willing to be a mentor, look for someone to be your mentor. And this is probably one of the most important steps to growing is being a mentor.
Yep. Yeah. And intentionally asking someone to be a mentor, willing and hoping to be mentored is a big thing. Sometimes you got to swallow your pride a little bit and think that person's more successful or they've accomplished something that I hope to accomplish. So I'm going to ask them how they do it. And I think nowadays, a lot of times people are so, I've even fallen victim to it. People are so caught up in like, I'm going to one up that guy. I got to naturally hate that guy because he's doing what I did or he's doing what I want to do. And you're just competing with one another when a lot of times you could help one another out. And you got to swallow your pride a little bit and just ask for them. Say, hey, I saw that you were really good at this, or you accomplished something that I would like to accomplish. You're at a place in life where I would like to be. Just ask them for help. Ask them if they got any knowledge or wisdom that they can share with you. Some people have more time than others, so you might be able to just jot down a few key points from them if they don't have much time. Some people will have more time. They can be more intentional and willing to meet with you consistently and further your growth.
Is it all right if I do the challenge here?
Yeah.
So it's time for the challenge. And I was doing a little research here on the best ways to locate and find a mentor. So that's our challenge today is for you to find a mentor. This might be somebody that you eat lunch with once a week. It might be a group of guys that, hey, we get together and we go to the bowling alley or we go hang out together. But it's good to see how other men respond. It's good to see I like to look for guys who are aligned with my own beliefs.
And I saw a movie recently that kind of echoed this, where there was a group of men, older men, that they would find a younger guy, that they would intentionally mentor him, and then they all met together once a week or once a month or whatever it was. But they had a whole group of people that older guys had mentored them. Now they're mentoring younger people, and it just created a huge chain.
So reflect on your goals. You need to consider the people who are around you. Look for alignment, people that are aligned with your goals, and then start to meet with these people. Maybe it's going to hang out with them. Maybe it's inviting them to lunch, and then start talking to them. Say, hey, would you mind to sit down with me maybe once a week, once a month, and let us talk about, what you've experienced. You fill in the blank there with work, business, life, pleasure, whatever it may be. So guys, we've given the challenge, and now it's time to
execute. Thank you for learning with us.
Join us next time as we reach for the impossible. I'm Travis.
And I'm Tyler.
And this is
Strategies for Success.